You know that feeling when you start a project on Replit? That amazing zero setup experience where everything just works. It's fantastic. But, there's a point in every developer's journey where it's time to leave that comfortable nest. So in this explainer, we're going to break down exactly how to move a Next.js app from Replit to a standard professional environment. Let's get into it.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about why you'd even want to make this move. Then, we'll pull back the curtain on those special Replit files to see how the magic happens. After that, we'll get our hands dirty building a standard project foundation, master the commands you'll be using day in and day out, and finally, we'll cover the best practices that put you in the driver's seat.
Look, Replit is an absolutely incredible tool for learning and for spinning up quick prototypes. It handles all the messy, complicated setup stuff for you, which is awesome. But to really grow as a developer and to build apps that can scale and live anywhere, you've got to step outside of that cozy, managed world.
Think of it like this. Replit is like the perfect starter apartment. It's super convenient, someone else manages the property, and it comes fully furnished. A standard environment? That's you building your own custom dream home. You get total control, the flexibility to host it wherever you want, and the portability to pack it up and move it. You're basically trading a little bit of that initial convenience for a whole lot of professional power. So how exactly does Replit pull off that instant zero setup magic? Well, it all comes down to a couple of special files that are totally unique to its platform. Let's break down what they do, and more importantly, why we're going to say goodbye to them. First on the list is the .replit file. You can think of this as the project's brain inside of Replit. It's just a configuration file that tells the platform exactly what to do the moment you hit that big green run button. The language, the command, all of it. Outside of Replit, though, this file doesn't mean anything. Its job is handled by some standard tools we're going to cover in just a minute. And then there's the Replit Nix file. This is basically the blueprint for your entire development environment. It uses a really powerful tool called Nix to manage all the system-level stuff, making sure the project runs the same for absolutely everyone. In a standard setup, you're the one in charge of managing this stuff, which, by the way, is a super important professional skill to have.
And what about your secret API keys and passwords? Well, Replit has that slick secrets tool that takes care of it for you. But out in the wild, the approach is a bit different. For your local machine, we use a file called .env.local, which, and this is critical, you never commit to your code repository. For your live website, the secrets are managed securely by your hosting provider, like Vercel or Netlify. The big takeaway here is you're shifting from a platform feature to personally owning your app security.
This table right here really makes it all click. It's like a translation guide. Replit's .replit file, that just becomes the scripts inside your package.json. The replit.nix file, its job gets taken over by your package.json and a lock file. Replit secrets, well, that translates to using .env files and your host's secret manager. And that big green run button you're so used to, that's now your new friend in the command line, npm run dev. See? Not so scary.
All right, with all the Replit-specific stuff gone, it's time to build a rock-solid foundation for our project. We need to make sure its core files and structure are up to industry standards. This is what's going to make it portable, robust, and ready for the big leagues. One of the first things you got to confirm is your routing strategy. Are you on the classic Pages router or the newer app router? And this is way more than just folder names. It's a huge architectural choice. The app router is server-first and uses React server components, which can give you some serious performance boosts. Honestly, this migration is the perfect excuse to think about modernizing your app and making that upgrade. Okay, next up, let's give your package.json a quick health check. Number 1, make sure you have the 3 essential scripts: dev, build, and start. Number 2, sort out your dependencies. Tools like ESLint or Prettier, they only need to be in dev dependencies, not your main dependencies. And 3, create a lock file. Just run npm install or yarn install. This file guarantees that everyone on your team is using the exact same version of every package, which stomps out those annoying, well, it works on my machine bugs. Now, let's talk about a file your Replit project might not even have, next.config.js. Think of this as the new main control panel for your entire application. This is where you'll handle everything from image optimization to custom security headers, all the way to tweaking the build process itself. Getting comfortable with this file is a massive step toward a truly professional setup. So, our foundation is solid. Now let's get into the day-to-day rhythm of development by mastering the 3 core commands that define the entire lifecycle of a standard Next.js project.
First up is NextDev. This is going to be your best friend. It fires up a local development server with fast refresh, which means every time you hit save, your changes just appear in the browser instantly. This command is your creative loop. It's where you'll spend pretty much all your time when you're actually coding.
Then, when you're ready to show your app to the world, you run next build. This is the Get Serious command. It takes all of your beautiful code, bundles it up, and spits out a highly optimized, production-ready package. It's the crucial step that prepares your app for prime time.
And finally, we have Next Start. This is the live performance. This command takes that optimized code from the build step and actually runs it on a real server. This is the command that services like Vercel or your own custom server will use to run your live application for everyone to see.
You'll also need to pick a package manager. Now, NPM comes with Node.js, so it's the default. Yarn is a really popular and often faster alternative. But I want to give a special shout out to PNPM. It is incredibly fast and way more efficient with your hard drive space because it cleverly links packages instead of downloading fresh copies for every single project. If you're managing multiple projects, that efficiency is a total game changer. We are in the home stretch. Now that you're in full control, let's go over a few common bumps in the road you might hit during migration and, more importantly, lock in the professional best practices that'll set your project up for long-term success. So, picture this. You've moved everything over, you feel great, you run next build, and bam, you're hit with a giant wall of red ESLint errors. It's super frustrating and a really common roadblock. So, what's actually going on here?
Well, the thing is, newer versions of Next.js are shifting toward a more standard, transparent way of doing things. But don't worry, the fix is super simple. The Next.js team provides this one command, a code mod, that you run, and it just automatically updates all your configurations for you. Problem solved. Easy peasy.
And that last point really illustrates something important. What might seem like weird, specific migration errors are usually just normal development problems in disguise. If your app won't start, double-check your package.json scripts. Getting a module not found error? You probably just need to manually install a package that Replit was handling for you. Seeing a blank page on your live site? Go check that you've set up your environment variables correctly on your hosting platform. A successful migration doesn't just end when the app starts working. Now's the time to level up and set up a pro workflow. First, source control. Make sure your .gitignore is up to date. Second, security. Use your host's system for managing secrets. Third, performance. Make sure you're using Next.js's built-in image and font components. And finally, automation. Set up a CI/CD pipeline to automate your deployments. This is the stuff that separates the hobbyists from the pros.
And that's it. You've made the leap from a managed sandbox to a professional, portable foundation. You've peeked behind the curtain, you've deconstructed the magic, and now you understand how all the pieces fit together. You have complete control, total flexibility, and a universe of options for where to take your project. So really, there's only one question left. Now that you're in charge, what are you going to build next?